Well, welcome to Coffee Chats with Diane Nix. I'm glad you're here. We have been on a journey, Dianne Dougharty and I, and we can't wait for you to hop in and hop on with us for this fourth installment of what it looks like to have and to express and to practice biblical hospitality. Welcome to Coffee Chats. So, I'm just reminded that we started off in week one with just giving a biblical admonition. And we went through Romans 12, 9 through 13, we looked at, and then we've looked at Philippians. We've looked at several verses through the New Testament where Jesus practiced just really good examples of us. We've even talked about the whole dreaded Martha and Mary story where we are looking at what biblical hospitality might not be. And I've shared a story that was very clear about what it's not supposed to be. And so as we're recapping that, this last week, we talked about 7 tips and preps on planning ahead for biblical hospitality. In fact, I can't I can't download those 7 tips for me, even at my age, quick enough. But this week, we're going to discuss 7 ways to keep hospitality simple. Keep it simple, girls. You might see some overlap with today's podcast on keeping it simple with last week. But what Diane and I hope both podcasts will assist you doing is learning the joy and ease of hospitality. If you will practice these 2 weeks, we think, we really not only think, we really believe and know for certain that it'll make your life easier and less stressful. So, Diane, what do you have to offer us today? Thank you for joining me one more time. Actually, we have 3 more times we're going to get together for this, even after this week. But let's talk about what you're thinking with keeping it simple.
Well, thank you. I've enjoyed the podcast sessions that we've had so far.
Yeah, me too.
I do think that planning ahead and keeping it simple relieves the stress. And when we don't do that, we're prone to grumble. I don't know if you're familiar with the verse in 1 Peter 4:9, but it says, show hospitality to others without grumbling. I'd like to say that I have always done that. I've never grumbled when I was having people over or complained about them coming for dinner, but that would not be true. And you can ask my daughters, but but I, like most of the women listening, have done my fair share of the grumbling and the complaining. But
grumble, right?
You're in that club too, right? Okay.
Yep, I am.
Well, years ago, when I found this verse, I really became determined to not do that because I was doing that a lot. And my girls were young, and I realized it was such a poor example to them.
Yep.
And especially when, they heard me grumbling and complaining. And then I opened the front door to my guests, and I am just like, well, welcome to our home.
We're so glad you're here.
So glad you're here. And,
and your kids are standing behind you going, what?
No, she's not.
Who is this person?
I know. What a hypocrite, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I think we need to be careful with our grumbling and complaining, but I do think planning ahead and keeping it as simple as we can will help alleviate that, and the indwelling of the Holy Spirit will help alleviate the grumbling and the complaining.
Yeah, maybe spending some time with Jesus before you start all the tips and planning.
Praying over your time with your guests.
Getting ready before the event might be a good thing. Getting ready with Jesus first, right?
That's right. Getting your heart right first.
Yeah, absolutely.
After all, you did invite them into your home,
Right,
So, do you have a story of one time maybe when
I have a couple of stories about that? And, growing, I had children late in life. And so for the first 12 years, we had no children and of our marriage, and we're told we would never have any. And so when we did have kids and I tried to start entertaining, when you don't have littles running around your feet and
Right.
you're trying to do your plans, interrupting your plans, getting sick, being born. I mean, one time we had to cancel an open house because Rachel Abigail actually came into the world the I had
Wow.
just bought $500 worth of groceries for an open house, and I went into
No,
labor. I went into the labor, and the doctor said,
you went into labor.
actually, it was just a high risk pregnancy. I went in after I bought the groceries. I went in for a sonogram, and he said, "Oh, you've got to have this baby today." I said, "I have an open house this weekend. I have an open house this weekend." And he said, "You can have an open house or a baby. Which would you rather have?" I mean, so, from the get go, we have practiced, but I love having people in my home. Now, I understand some
Yes.
of y'all listening out there don't really understand that, and you think that's odd. And when I tell people I invited our entire church into our home once a year, people kind of look at me and like this, or they think we had a itty bitty tiny church. No, the reality is sometimes there were several hundred people through my home in 3 or 4 days. But I did that on purpose, mainly
Right.
because I wanted one time a year that people would know that they were welcome in my home. They were always welcome.
Right.
But if I'm very, very honest, sometimes it was not pleasant in my home. And as of recent days, I had one of my children say, "Mom, are you happy? I know this has stressed you out and you're not happy about this." And I was so convicted that during some of their formative years, maybe my lack of planning or not keeping it simple, like taking on more than needed to be done for the event itself. Now, I did learn through experience over the years to like just let some things go, let people bring things and be a part of that whole event. And that made it much simpler. Just what I said to church family, bring your favorite hors d'oeuvre or sweet that your family loves to make during Christmas holidays and bring that to us. And it helped keep it simple and took a lot of stress. So I would have the things that I normally had that I was known for, but not as much because they would be bringing in something that would
Uh-huh.
help, and everyone could then talk about everybody's little special treat. So that was something I learned. So, two real life lessons of making certain that you're keeping it simple so that it doesn't, uh, so that you don't succumb to the emotions.
Yes. It doesn't turn into a dread.
It doesn't become a dread, or you don't make everybody else in your life miserable because you've succumbed to the stress that often comes when we open our homes. So, how can we alleviate that stress when it comes to keeping it simple?
Well, I've got some tips here, but I did want to say to the women who don't understand, those who enjoy having people into their home, that our homes are a gift. And
Amen.
whatever home you have is what God gave you, but He wants you to use that to be a blessing to other people. So, and I think if you will start doing that and opening your home and being vulnerable in that
Yeah.
way, that
Yeah.
you will be more blessed even than those that you have in your home.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
but
Well,
I
and,
do
and let
think,
me interject here is that
sure,
sometimes you might find someone in your closet. When
yes,
we mentioned that on a previous podcast.
yes,
Sometimes people do cross boundaries. Sometimes people take back things that they shouldn't take back, or have conversations they shouldn't have about you. But that's really between them and the Lord. You, as far as it be with you, do everything according to what the Lord wants you, as unto the Lord. Do it all as unto the Lord, because you
right.
know that God has called you to love the sheep.
Yes,
Bottom line,
absolutely.
we are to
And
love the sheep.
and those who are not sheep and not in the body, I know I served on an HOA in our neighborhood, and God just led me to serve on the board, and I just felt impressed to have these couples over to my home, and many of them don't know the Lord. But that night, it was such a blessing to me to see them enjoy one another and to be in my home and to feel there was something different about my home. And I knew that it was the Lord's presence there. But it's important that we open up our homes. And in doing so, we do need to plan ahead and we do need to keep it simple. It's a lot less intimidating to people if we keep it simple too. So I have some tips here and I'm going to go through those. And,
Okay, let's go.
And you just jump in whenever you want to.
Okay.
But I think the first one is to have reasonable preparation and cleaning goals. Okay. So don't decide to clean out your garage or any of your overcrowded closets just before you have company. It's
Even
not a
if
good
there's
idea.
an older woman that ends up in your closet, do not decide to clean out your
Do
closet.
not clean out your closet. Ask her
What
to.
she
If she's going to
finds,
go
she's
in there, she
fine.
might want to clean it out. She may have the gift of organization. Let her do it, but for you, don't take on those big tasks. Don't tackle your entire house or special projects right before you're going to have guests. It's not a good idea. It adds stress to your life. I know sometimes we think that we're motivated to do that because people are coming. And sometimes big events like a high school graduation, you have a child and all the family's coming and there's projects you want to get done.
Yeah,
Do
all of
those weeks
that.
ahead.
Right.
Don't try it 2 days before.
Yeah.
Save those big
Good word.
projects to when you have time. If you have little people, deep clean a few days ahead with the thought in mind that you are going to have to go back through and do a quick run with your Swiffer duster, your Swiffer mop, and your Clorox wipes, of course. So clean the areas again. We mentioned this last week that only those who are coming to your home are going to be exposed to. A lot of the women who host our Secret Savored small discipleship groups, when they volunteer, they think they've got to have a perfect clean house every week. And the girls could care less. If the toilet's clean, that's great. The area they're going to be in, take care of that. And then secondly, keep your overall menu simple. Don't try some grand new recipe that you've wanted to try. If you do that, do it a week or two out so you know whether it works or not. But keep it simple. Try to choose recipes that you make, like you said last time. Yes. Oh, my friend told me that this was an awesome recipe. I'm going to try it.
And it's really bad.
I tried a spinach lasagna. It was a Southern Living recipe.
Yeah.
And I had the young man was dating our daughter and they were getting serious. And he loves food and loves to eat. And I put that on the table and he took one bite. And when that young man wasn't going to eat it, I knew the rest of us were not going to eat it. It was awful. So choose simple menus and don't try new recipes right before you're going to have people over. Again, keep in mind your number of ovens, how many ovens you have and your cooking temperature, your cooking time when you're choosing your menu. Because you may have a 375, a 350, and a 325. How are you going to do that if you only have one or two ovens? So keep that in mind. And then third, because the entree, like we said last week, takes most of the time, choose one that doesn't require more than 2 to 3 and at the most 4 steps. If you can do that. If possible, choose a recipe that is just perfect for preparing a day or two ahead of time, like we talked about last time. A roast is a great thing. You can sear your roast, get it all ready, have it in the crock pot in the fridge, take it out, put your vegetables in there that morning and turn it on. You're ready to go. Another one that is a very favorite of mine is called baked ziti. And it is an Italian dish. Pretty much everybody loves Italian. You can even do it with gluten-free pasta. Just have to watch the cooking time on your gluten-free pasta because you will not want to cook it too long because of the juices in the casserole. You even cook your pasta al dente, which is just barely done, but leave it a little crunch, not crunch to it, but a little give to it. But it is a great dish and it goes a long way, makes a lot. That recipe's in one of our books. So, but all you have to do is throw a salad and some bread with it and a dessert, some cookies you've got in the freezer, and you're done. It's so easy. And again, cooking out the hamburger patties, or if you're going to have chicken marinated, go ahead and marinate your chicken. You can marinate it the week before, stick it in the freezer. and then take it out that morning, let it marinate all day as it thaws. So think ahead, keep it simple when you're choosing your entree, and then keep your sides simple. Okay. I have a bacon, onion, green bean, and it's fresh green beans, and you cook those just till they're still a little crisp, and you take those out, and then you cook bacon, slices of bacon, and then you do your onion rings in there and cook those till they're nice and soft and golden. And then you mix your green beans, your drained green beans, into all of that, and salt and pepper. It's awesome, but it makes the biggest mess with the bacon because it's popping all over the place. So I do that a day ahead, and then I'll put it in a casserole dish, put it in the refrigerator, and then I'll just stick it in the oven with my entree and warm it up. And
That's
so
awesome.
keep your sides simple. If you're going to have bread, go ahead and slice it, butter it, wrap it in foil, put it in the freezer. You can do that a week ahead. It doesn't matter. Just take it out that morning, and then you can toss it in the oven to heat it up. I love Italian casseroles because all you have to do is throw a Costco big Caesar salad with it, a loaf of their Parmesan rosemary bread that is awesome, and you've got it made. So, think about your sides. Salad is a wonderful side. Bag salads can be expensive, but Aldi's has good prices, and then Costco has larger amounts and has a good price on those too.
Right,
So,
right.
So keep your sides simple, and then keep your drinks simple. Why do we think we have to order Sprite, root beer, offer Sprite, root beer, Coke, Diet Coke, whatever all the other brands are? And we don't. We just need to keep it simple. That's
Right.
better on our budget, and we don't have to
Well,
offer all
because a
that
lot of
water and
times
tea.
you end up not serving all of those drinks, and then you're left with them, and your family's not going to drink them. Or you and your
Correct.
husband, if it's just the two of you, are not going to
Yes.
drink all that. So they go to waste, or you need to send them home with your guest and let them
Yes.
know.
Or you
If
buy
you
the
can,
small little mini cans if you're
yeah.
going to
So I
serve
just
those.
started doing that for our refresh
Yes.
retreats. I was like, don't buy, like we try to get everyone that comes to a refresh retreat, because they're going to be with us for 3 days. We try to
Right.
get their drinks, but I was wasting so much money
Money.
buying
Yeah.
the so we get the little ones, and they
Yes.
work. If we need to go get another pack of the little ones, we can do that. So
Well, and
good
that's
idea.
being
That's a great idea.
it's being a good steward, and that's what
Yes.
we need to do,
Yes.
that as we are biblically hospitable too. But unless you have a cookout, Cokes and carbonated drinks are not
Right.
necessary. It's just not necessary. Number 6, which I mentioned in the planning session, but choose a quick and easy dessert. I said I keep brownies in the freezer. So
Yeah.
one dessert that I do is a trifle, and you do not need a trifle bowl to make a trifle. You just need a bowl. Okay. It doesn't have to be a fancy one, but this is brownies, white chocolate pudding, and whipped cream. And let's see, Heath.
Yeah.
And so you mix your white chocolate pudding and your whipping cream. I whip my own whipping cream rather than buying like Cool Whip, but you mix that up. And
Which
so
is
you put that
better
in the
for you
bottom.
folks, better for you than
Much
Cool Whip.
better, much
Right.
better.
And it tastes
We
better
won't
because
get
it's real cream.
Yes, we won't get into all the list of chemicals that are in Cool Whip, but but whipping cream's much better. And if you don't
It's
want
not gonna
sugar,
kill you if you do it ever so often, but,
right,
here we
it's
go.
fine. It's fine. Christmas, Thanksgiving, go for it. But this is just the white chocolate pudding mixed with your whipping cream. And then you layer that, and then you do chunks of brownies and your Heath chips that you can get in the baking section. And then
Yay.
you just layer that all the way and put a little whipped cream on top and sprinkle some of those Heath little chips on top. It is
Mm.
amazing. And you
That
can do it the day
let's
before,
let's have that
you
right
know?
now. Let's
I
have it
know
right
it's
now. My
so
stomach just
good.
started growling right then.
I know, we could have it for breakfast, right? But
Exactly.
it's a good one. And if you have brownies in the freezer, another thing I've done is I keep chocolate chip cookies in the freezer. Well, I will just buy the vanilla ice cream at Kroger. My niece and her husband come with their little boys, and they love this dessert. I just make ice cream sandwiches with
Yeah.
the chocolate chip cookies, and you can
Yeah.
wrap them individually and put them in a Ziploc bag and have them in the freezer. So keep your dessert simple. Make it something that you can
So
make
one of
ahead
the
of time.
things that I've done is when I'm hosting a refresh retreat for ministry wives, and let's say I don't have time to make it a cookie, I get the Toll House, the better mix of Toll House
Yes.
cookie dough, and
Yes.
I have that in the refrigerator. I buy some good ice cream, like not the bargain ice
Yes.
cream, but a very
Right.
good ice cream. And for
Right.
dessert, the first day they're with me is and when they're walking in, the cookies are baking because you have
Smells good.
welcome home. Welcome. It's got that
Right.
good, rich. And then for
Yes.
dessert, we have the trouble is you got to watch and make sure that in the welcoming of everybody, you're not burning your
You don't
cookies.
burn the cookies.
Right. You don't set
Yeah.
the house on fire or the smoke alarms going off in your rental that you're renting. But here's the
Right.
thing. It it it's warmth. It gives you a sense of, oh, I'm home. Baked cookies and just the
Yes.
simple dessert of ice cream and a baked cookie or warmed baked cookie with a
Yes.
scoop of ice cream is an incredible dessert. Very
When
simple.
you brought up
No
something
brownies.
else too, not everything has to be from scratch.
No,
Okay.
no.
If you're a young mom, that mix or the slice
Yes.
and bake cookies, it's
Yes.
okay. It's
Yes.
okay. Not everything has to be from scratch. And not
Mhm.
everyone loves to bake. Not everyone likes to cook. I have a
Yeah.
daughter who loves to bake and one who likes to cook.
Yeah.
But, so keep it simple and do what works best for you. And don't feel like you have to make anything from scratch. So,
Absolutely.
okay. Number 7 is when choosing your decor or your centerpiece, whatever you're going to do on your table, try to make choices that will not require spending money. And we talked about that in the planning part, but just use what you have available in your yard. Or I have a friend, Deborah, and she keeps a pair of clippers in her trunk. And I am not kidding. Every park she goes around, people's homes. She's been known to clip bushes. She came one time for a secrets group and she did the neatest thing. I want the girls to learn and young women to learn that it doesn't have to cost to be pretty, and it can be very inexpensive and you can be frugal but have something pretty. She had a stone bunny that was in her garden. So she brought that and she was decorating for a baby shower, showing the girls how they could decorate for a baby shower. I have moss around a tree. So she cut some of that moss. She put plastic around on the table and put the bunny on there, laid the moss down. And then she had a stand and she got a book at the library on Peter Rabbit. She went
Okay.
to Kroger, who had the flowers half off, and put those in some little vases around it. And she did not spend hardly anything on that. So
Yeah. Right.
just be as creative as you can. Look around, see what's in your home, and decorate accordingly. And then let's see what else we had here.
Well, I think
If you're
we
hot,
wanted
go
to
ahead.
add an eighth tip on keeping it simple,
I did. I did.
right?
Um, I did. Before I do that real quick, I did want to say something that I do that I think might be helpful to the girls too.
Okay.
Placemats can be expensive.
It can be
Okay.
so expensive.
They can be so expensive. So Hobby Lobby runs their scrapbooking paper, which are the big squares you can buy.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they're 50% off sometimes. So they're 50% off or 40 of 69 cents. Okay. So I was having a huge group over of girls and their husbands. So at Christmas, so
Okay.
I bought red and then I went to Office Depot and they can run them through their laminator. I think it cost me about $6 or something to have all of them laminated. Just cut them, put them on the table and put the plate on them. And it was a placemat without spending hardly any money at
That's
all. And they
awesome,
kept it
actually.
simple. And so I have those red ones. So what I'm doing this week is I bought some scrapbooking paper with the stars on it for the 4th
Yes.
of July. And I'm going to laminate that. And I'm just going to kind of overlap. So it's a little bigger placemat, but it has the solid red that I already have along with the one with the stars. So
Love that. And then
you can
save
keep it
them and
simple.
use them again because you were
Yeah.
laminating them. You can wipe them off.
You wipe them off. Yes. And if
And
somebody
use them
spills
again.
something on it, they're not ruined like your other placemats. So
Yes.
anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there, but I
Love
did
that
want to
tip.
say,
That's awesome.
yeah,
All right, let's hear the
that-
8th tip.
the 8th one, okay, for keeping it simple, ask your guests to bring something. And you mentioned this a while ago.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get
Absolutely.
embarrassed and we think we need to provide all
Yeah.
the food. But
Yeah.
every time, pretty much every time I invite someone over, they offer to bring something. Sometimes I say yes. Sometimes I say no. I want to be
Yeah.
I want to be
I've
the
got
one
it.
to just bless you with this meal. But there's nothing wrong with allowing your guests to bring drinks, to bring a dessert, to bring a side. If you want to do the entree, it's easier to do it at your home. But that eighth tip to keep it simple is do not be embarrassed or ashamed to ask people to help you and to bring something with them. They're more than happy to do that. So that's the eighth tip.
I love every bit of the things that you've shared with us, both last week and this week, from planning ahead to keeping it simple. That's what gets us in trouble. We don't plan ahead, and then we want
Right.
to tackle the bigger things, and we think we've got to do more than expected, even from our guests. We put those expectations on ourselves. And so, even for me, as I learned about doing Christmas open houses, what I realized as I opened up my home, when I began to include the church members who were coming to see me to bring their favorite either appetizer or snack for Christmas, or usually for Christmas is when we did it, or your favorite candy or baked good or whatever you like to do as a family. And every one of our families has something that they like to do. And it's usually
True.
at the holidays. And so when I did that and kept it simple by doing that for me, it helped me out a lot. But what it did was it made everybody feel like they were a part of something, that they got to
Yes.
bring something to the table. Now, interesting to note, early on in our ministry, when I began to do that at our very first church, people would put it on a dish that I did not have to return, that would be like a gift to us. So I had
Wow.
serving pieces like galore that would begin to come, and Christmas themed serving pieces that would begin to fill my cabinets, because these sweet folks would bless us
Yes.
not only with what we were giving and what we were eating in our 3 days of open houses, but they would also give us a little serving dish that we would be using for years to come. And for some of those things, many of you listening know that we went through Hurricane Katrina. Those gifts survived because of where they were packed, and because we had not unpacked all of them yet. And many of those things survived Katrina, which are such precious memories to me today as I unpack them and use them with guests now. Wow, that's what a great just last 2 weeks that we've shared on practicing biblical hospitality. I am so grateful to you, Diane, for being with us. And I want you to
Thank
remember,
you.
ladies, we want you to remember your goal in opening your home and being hospitable is not perfection. It is to bless others, not to impress. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon.